Raphaelis, what an honor to meet you. What are you doing here today? Well, yes, I am Chris from Casual EDH, but how did you know? I see. Well, I'm glad that my reputation precedes me, but sir, your reputation certainly precedes you. How can I help you today? Why, yes, I am doing a video on mana dorks. How did you know? Yes, the forests do have a lot of things to say. But that does not explain why you're here. Oh, I apologize. As legendary as you are, we can't use you in the video. You are banned because you are far too efficient at creating mana. And being a legendary creature yourself, you're just too strong to be able to keep in the command zone. Well, no, I mean, no, what are you doing? You're calling for backup? Emrakul, what are you doing here? You're also banned. And also not even a mana dork. Grizzlebrand? Wait. Whoa. Grizzlebrand, what are you doing? Raphaelis, I mean, you are a legendary creature, and I mean, it is an honor to meet you, but you need to call your boys off. They're all banned. We can't use them. Okay, I'm just gonna call the police now. Bye. Well, folks, I apologize for that scene there. Raphaelis is an amazing mana dork, but he is banned in Commander, so while it was nice to meet him, yeah, we can't talk about him today. But that said, what we are going to talk about is, what is a mana dork? So to begin with, a mana dork is just a creature that taps for mana. They come in a few varieties, but mainly they are in green, and one of the most famous tribes for them is elves. So here I am going to show you 3 Llanowar elves. We have Llanowar elves, Llanowar Elves 2, and Llanowar Elves 3. You can pick your flavor or play all of them. It doesn't matter, because they all have different names. So the thing about mana dorks is they are a bit more efficient in getting into play than land ramp, but they are a little bit less efficient getting into play than artifacts. They do have summoning sickness. They cannot tap the turn they come into play unless you have haste or some other effect. So they're a little bit slower than artifacts, but still a bit quicker than lands. They are more blow-upable, if that's a word. Basically, artifacts, because they're artifacts, are less likely to be destroyed. There's just less effects flying around that destroy them. Lands have even less effects that do that, but creatures, there's a lot of effects that do that. And also, sometimes you just might want to use them as a blocker, because even though you're usually using them for mana, they do have a toughness stat. So that's one of the pros of them, but the thing is, once you block with them once, they're probably gone. The thing that sets them apart from other land ramp options is that they tend to have more like cumulative effects. So right now we have 3 elves that all tap for 1, but we also have another elf here. We can show Devoted Druid that taps for 1, and it has options to untap itself. We have another one here that taps for 3, but then we get other options that are a little bit stronger. So we have an option like this, Priest of Titania. We'll also throw Elvish Archdruid out there as well, and they tap for the number of elves you control. So the more creatures you control, the more they tap for. Even less restrictive, we have Circle of Dreams Druid, who literally does tap for green for each creature you control. This basically makes him a Gaia's Cradle on a creature. Much more affordable, but still a little bit on the expensive side. But Chris, you're saying, these are all elves. What if I'm not playing Elf Tribal? Well, that's fine. I got you covered there. There's other options. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about elves anymore, but we do have Bloom Tender here. Bloom Tender is a little bit different. Does not need to go into an Elf Tribal deck. Does not care about other elves. It has tap, and then for each color among permanents you control, add 1 mana of that color. So in a lot of cases, this means if your commander is out, then you can just tap for all of your colors, assuming, of course, that your color identity does not come from something in your text box or like a background or something. We have Noble Hierarch, which is our first non-elf that I'm going to show here. It has Exalted on it, which means if a creature attacks by itself, it gets +1/+1. It also has tap to add green, white, or blue specifically. So this one is a little bit more restrictive than the decks it can go into. But, it's a pretty good one. We have Zertaw Druid, another example here. So now we're going to start seeing ones that have like additional effects or a little bit more restrictive in their options here. Zertaw Druid has tap, add green to your mana pool, which is, the mana dork part of it. But also has, whenever you tap Zertaw Druid for mana, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So you also have something that's going to start stinging your opponents a little bit. I believe this can go into the Gearson Kellermorph deck. I believe it's the correct color, so that would actually start lightning bolting people, which is actually kind of nice. Then you also have some non-green options. Dalekos, Crafter of Wonders is an example of that. You can tap to add 2, spend the mana to only cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts, and that's something you're going to see when you get outside of green. is a lot of times the mana is more restrictive on how you can use it. If you want something that's a little bit less restrictive, maybe another tribe. We also have the mirrors. Iron Mirror here taps to add red to your mana pool, but there is a mirror for each color that taps for all of them, including like Platinum Mirror, which taps for 2 colorless. And then we have, this one's a little bit interesting, and you see ones like this sometimes. You can pay blue to tap and add 3 colorless mana into your mana pool, and it is specifically colorless, so this is actually good for Eldrazi. And it just basically filters 1 into 3, so it's kind of like a pseudo Soul Ring in that case. Prentice Wizard here recently printed in Double Masters. And these are all just examples of different types of mana dorks that you can see. So you can usually find a mana dork for your deck. It just depends on what colors you're playing and what kind of effects you're looking for. But really the big one is going to be green. You're using them to get out big creatures or play big green spells. Elves just make mana. Like, it almost feels like when you're playing the game, like elves just make mana accidentally. So they're not complicated for the most part. Play a creature, tap it the next turn for mana. So that said, I'm going to go ahead and do my normal here. I'm going to go ahead and say that Apprentice Wizard here is going to get my seal. And I bid you all adieu.